This is the part 2 of the John Pork assassination. This video continues from the first one, so I would recommend you watch the first part of the video. If you can't be asked, I will quickly explain it. John Pork, Tim Cheese, and Simon Claw grew up. When they were older, John took Tim's wife. I got that wrong. It wasn't a lady on the street, but it was his wife, actually. After that, John started getting money and fame, while he left Tim and Simon in the dirt. One day, Tim and Simon got caught, and only one can run. Simon sacrifices himself for Tim and spends 5 years in jail. Everyone turned their back on him, and only one person didn't, Tim Cheese. After that, Simon killed John Pork. And everyone that was on John's side are now at war with Simon and Tim. That was the summary. Let's get to the part 2. The reason why Tim killed John is because he stole the only thing he loved, his wife. Keep that sentence in mind, especially the word only. While Simon was in jail, he thought of the rotten pig that put him in there. Not the police, but the boss in the suit, Bob Bacon. Allegedly, Simon and Tim sinned for his fortune and killed for his throne. And that because of Bob, pickups turned to beatings, and beatings turned to bodies. And when it came down to it, it was them that took the fall, according to Simon. And Simon says that he is the reason why his cousin is rotting face first in the soil, and that Bob built the man that pulled the trigger, and that he built the man that sent 9 grams of gunpowder through John's meaty head. Bob built 2 monsters that now have nothing to lose, and that it's just them against the world. Tim Cheese allegedly has Agent 5.5 somewhere far, far away. Marvin Beak used to be moving shadows, but now allegedly sending threats through them. And that Simon won't even waste a breath for Justin Chetta and Pengu. Bob planted the seed and then prayed it would not grow, but the roots that he feed might reach where he goes. Simon Claw was on his daily run in his rooting when something happened, what seemed like Pengu shot Simon Claw in the chest, and Simon said that they say cats have 9 lives, and that he is spending each one making death wish it never tried. The next time Tim and Simon have been spotted when they are on a boat. Simon says that they have found the island, which I presume that's the place where they held Agent 5.5 captive, and that it was only the matter of time that they took their prize, Agent 5.5. But they apparently didn't lose, but gave them a taste of what it costs to come after them. They weren't just playing brute force, they were playing smart as well. That's how Simon got shot in the chest when Pengu shot him. Simon let them believe that one bullet finished him, and that's when his instincts kicked in. That he is here, Marvin Beak. A man ready to end it all, thinking he had the upper hand. Funny how that tracker worked in their favor that time, and proceeds to shoot Marvin in the head behind him sneakily. After that, he says, "Bob Bacon, bring me Pengu and his wife alive before Marvin bleeds out." That's not a request. It's a clock ticking down to his worst nightmare. After what seems like a few minutes later, we could see Simon sitting on a seat staring at Marvin Beak, and Simon says that Marvin's pain had fed something inside of him, something dark. The more he suffered, the more alive he felt. Then it cuts to Bob Bacon, bringing Pengu and his wife in where they were like he requested. Once their eyes landed on Marvin, you could see the cracks forming. They walked right into the lion's den. Bob had no choice but honor the deal. And that it was funny how quick he gave up Pengu and his wife. He could have put a bullet in Pengu's head right then and there. But I wanted something more. Then all you could see is black for a second and hear gunshots, which interprets that he shot Pengu's wife. And Simon says that he wanted something more, something that would tear him apart in ways that a bullet never could. It was about taking away everything he held on to. He says that every life he takes, he loses a piece of who he was, and that he can't remember if he is hunting monsters or if he has become the monster. Simon says that everyone breaks, even the loyal ones, and that Pengu told Tim and Simon everything that they needed to know. And he says that now it's time to bullets fly. As he walks out of the elevator, he says perfect, and that he was in the mood for some bacon, as he starts to shoot every pig in the place. Simon says that they didn't come there to make noise, but they came there to compose chaos. Then you could see Tim and Simon dragging out Bob Bacon, and Bob was told to just accept his fate, and that John Pork would be ashamed to see him like that, and that he ran his mouth like he was untouchable. He says that every king falls, Bob, and it just happened to fall into fire. After that, it cuts to Pengu strapped to a chair, and he says that he must be starving, and they went through so much pain to serve him something special, and that he should consider it his last meal with an old friend. Then he is spotted in a dark, abandoned-looking hospital room, and then he say that he told himself he could protect her, keep her separate from everything he is, and that the one time he tried to hold on to something real, it slipped right through his bloody hands. That she didn't know about the bodies, didn't know about the blood be spilled, and that he kept it out of her not out of malice, but because of fear. Fear of losing someone else he cared about. After what they did to Bob, he knew that revenge is coming towards him, but he just didn't think it would come then and there. The clip cuts to a bomb ticking down next to the house of Simon Claw. Then it cuts to the house being exploded. Then Simon says that all he could think about was if he could ever see her eyes open again. He can't even walk into the hospital, not with this face, not with this name. So he's waiting in the dark while she fights for life. The next time Simon is spotted, he is all beaten and barely alive. And then he says, "I should have known. The deepest cuts come from the ones who called you brother." After the explosion, Simon thought that he had come to help Simon from the fire. He said that help doesn't come with a crowbar. The way he looked at Simon Claw, he has never seen that look in his eyes. Remember at the very start of the video I says remember the quote, and that he cared for only one person. He literally did only care for one person. Then you could see Tim swinging his weapon onto Simon. And then he said that it makes sense why he broke Simon out. He used him to clean up the mess he started. And once he was no use, he threw him into the deep end. Part of him wishes the river would have claimed him, swallow him whole so he would never have to face this hell. That it was not the Tim Cheese he knew before, and he said that the next time they meet, he sure as hell won't recognize him too.